back to another Scraplift Crafternoon. I am scraplifting the West London scrapbooker. I'll have the links and all the information on the playlist down below. My audio cuts out a little bit, but hopefully you'll get this intro, and then I will come back when we go to fast forward. Thanks, everybody. And her layout is a kind of a grid around the outside of a white paper with some graphics in the middle and a couple of photos with a title. And I am going to be kind of copying that, but instead of doing the pops of color around the outside, I'm going to be using this new Harden collection. Look at this, Hidden Creek. And Hidden Creek has this acetate strip. And I'm going to use this on the outside of this page and kind of make a frame. They also have these really cool film strip acetate washi kind of like stickers. We're going to use those. And then for the inside, I have this Tim Holtz Stamper Anonymous. I have this and I have some arrows. And I'm going to use that to kind of just make a graphic on the inside, almost like just a mixed media kind of a grunge look. So we're going to do that. Hope you enjoy it and hang with me while I get this started. This is slightly different than some of the other videos I've done because I'm not using a lot of tape. The first thing I did is after looking at the Stampers Anonymous set, I pulled out some more. So basically I pulled out 2 other sets I had travel related. I'm going to start by putting this acetate on the 4 edges. That's one of the things I really wanted to do. And I love how it turned out. It frames the whole page. I'm constantly looking for new ways to use this kind of washi or acetate or the strips of things I get, whether it's ribbons. And I'm constantly trying to find things that I can use them for that are creative and yet don't feel like I'm hoarding it or that I'm wasting it. I did see on the website for this collection that you could, if you wanted to, use alcohol markers to color this acetate. I am probably going to try that on my next page. So just a shout out to look at the Katie Perrette website or Instagram, and she colors this particular acetate. Super fun. She also uses it as a way to do like a card base, which I thought was fun as well. The one strip had a little bit of a bubble in it, and I knew it was going to bother me. At first I thought, oh, I can live with it, and then I realized, nope, can't. So I'm pulling those staples out, and I'm putting it down. I thought having staples on the edges would be better than trying to do tape, mainly because I wasn't 100% sure how well all the tape would stick. I am placing this down, I'm stapling the last piece, and then I'm going to trim off the tape. So hopefully you see how I took her idea of having the colored squares around the outside, and instead I used the acetate. So when you're scrap lifting, it kind of gives you a lot of ideas. For me, the idea was, oh, look, there's a big, huge, bulky frame around the edge of this picture with some white space with a black graphic on the middle. And that's what I took from it. So I'm using different stamps to kind of make a black graphic. So I'm taking each of my stamps and I'm stamping it 3 times in different places using black soot. Now, as the key with all good stamping, you guys all know what's going to happen. I'm going to cover up a ton of this. That's okay. The purpose of this was not necessarily to see all of the stamping, but to create kind of a grungy look in the middle of it using the stamping. Now, you could, if you wanted to, take this idea and run with it with different colors of stamps, different kinds of stamps, do stamp and color in with like colored pencils or markers. You could make this your own and do it however you want. For me, I was kind of sticking true to the black and white graphic that she had in her page, but you can do this and make it your own. So now I've done kind of the base of all the work, and now all I have left is framing out this photo and doing a little bit of embellishment. I'm going to go through the Hidden Creek. I found this really cool plaid that I absolutely love, that I thought went with the vibe of the picture. And then happens to be that on the back of that plaid was a color I couldn't use. So I end up flipping through and finding another color, I believe, to go behind it. Oh no, instead I just leave it there. I was going to double mat it, but I don't. And then I'm just going to pop it up with, ends up the rest of my big, huge foam tape. I have purchased a second one, so I will have a second roll, but that was the last of the first big, huge roll of foam tape I had. So after I do this, I'm now going to go through all of the accessories they have. And so there's my title, Explore More. And now I'm going to look at all the die cuts and kind of figure out some to lay around. If you'll notice in her layout, she doesn't have a lot of embellishment. There's not a lot of embellishment. It's just the stamping and then the graphic around. So I wanted to keep true to that. I didn't want to add a whole bunch, but I did want to add just enough to have a little bit more color than the black and white. So I'm auditioning all the pieces and showing you kind of my process of just sticking things out that I like, putting it in basically 3 different embellishment clusters, and then going from there. So I have a bunch of different things that I've chosen, and really you don't have to have a whole lot of embellishment on a page like this. And I think that's the other key. So I end up with the blue flowers with one of the buttons, and then I have some leaves and a together button plus some words and a butterfly and another button up there. I end up not going to any of the other items because when I look at this, I think, you know what? This is enough embellishment to keep this page moving. So I don't want to add too much to it. I think knowing where to stop is kind of a big key. Now, a lot of us are scrapbooking not because we're trying to have the absolute best page in the world, but more because we want to have the experience, and playing with the embellishments is almost as fun as making the page. So sometimes you'll see me just pull out 100 embellishments, and I will just put all 100 embellishments on a page. That's mainly because I'm just having fun playing with my supplies. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with having fun playing with your supplies. So I'm looking at this and making sure I feel like it's good, that I feel like it's kind of the end. And then I say, you know what? I would love to have a little bit of sparkle. So I grab my autumn leaves picket fence gems and I put just the green ones. So I'm very specifically pulling through to just get the olive green ones. In this autumn leaf set, there's some brown, some gold, and some kind of sagey green. I'm just pulling out the green ones. And I put 3 of those in the 3 clusters, and that adds just enough sparkle to kind of feel like it puts the page together. Here's a look at my final page close up. Hope you've enjoyed this. I'm really enjoying these scrap lists. I will see you soon. Thanks, everybody.